It all started with Education CS Ezekiel Machogu making an outburst about withdrawal of some essential funds from the university's development fund. Now it's about Moses Kuria getting into another ugly confrontation with Wavinya Ndeti. What exactly is happening with William Ruto's cabinet? Don't you think that the transition could be a problem? Welcome to the Bold Analysis. This is the most informative political podcast in Kenya. And today, I want us to look at the world of William Ruto's cabinet members. Something is not going on well, and there is a problem. Moses Kuria, in a span of 1 month, have got in trouble. But before Moses Kuria, I think let me take this opportunity to revisit a bit about the Education CS. And I listened to Wilson Sosion interview in Citizen saying that Waziri just have a problem in communication. And so that's why what he said was misunderstood, because what Kenyans were told that he wanted to withdraw, or rather he wanted the universities not to be funded, was a fallacy. But don't you think it is just a matter of controlling the public image? There is something really that should worry President Ruto, that members of his cabinet have a sense of entitlement. Ababu Namwamba, after being seen in a video akipanguziwa viatu with one of NYS officers, he had to call the guy urgently in his office and give him a job just to save face. I know in the fullness of time we'll know which kind of job he was given. But we really have, I feel there is no coherence. And people seem not to understand really how the government is running. Now, I want us to look at Moses Kuria. He mentioned about Mitumba, banning Mitumba while in South Africa. Of course, today I saw another state visit by Ramaphosa, and of course the visa agreement that's really lauded. And yesterday he spoke about asking some squatters to leave some land for the Portland company that was supposed to be used in expansion of the company. And that has gotten him in another trouble with Machakos governor, Wavinya Ndeti. It's getting ugly, and she seems to be calling William Ruto, asking William Ruto to call his cabinet into order. What exactly is the problem? Let's listen to Wavinya.
Mimi nilisikia mtu jana ameongea. Anasema mashamba yetu. I want to tell Moses Kuria, please, you have just been given the seat of a minister. And before you start talking down on us or commanding us as people of Machakos, come and sit down with us and know where the problem is. Hawa wanakudanganya wa Portland ndio wezi wa shamba. Those people who work in East African Portland Cement are the ones that have stolen our land. Hiyo East African Portland ilikuwa ikifanya kazi vizuri wakati wa Barmasai na wakati wa alikuwa anaitwa Maina. East African Portland was working, lakini tukakuja tukawaekewa wakora hapo, wakaangusha factory yetu haifanyi, wakatuweka kwa madeni, wakachukua ile shamba. Sisi kama watu wa Ukambani Machakos tuliwapatia wa mine. We gave them community land to mine, and after mining they should have returned the land to the community. They never bought it. Hawakununua hiyo shamba. Na sasa wameenda, they went wakachukua loan. Wakachukua loan na shamba yetu. Shamba yetu sijui inauzwa na KCB, sijui imeuziwa kina nani. We are not going to allow that, Moses Kuria, na sisi hatukuogopi. Na niliona vile ulinifanya jana, uliongea na ukanitumia hiyo video. I am not scared of you. I tried calling you, you didn't pick my phone. And I'm going to tell His Excellency, aongee na hao maminista wake, wasije wakatuletea shida hapa bure. You understand? Before waziri aanze kusimama atamke maneno ama aanze kuongea vitu, akuje kwanza aingiane na wananchi. Yeah, please do your research. Hata mimi nimechaguliwa kama gavana wa Machakos, siwaji kuja hapa ninaanza pere. Lazima niingie nijue ni nini. Lazima niingie nikisimama niongee kitu nijue ninaongea nini. If I speak something, I should be able to stand by it.
Now, it is not surprising, and I want to tell Madam Governor that Moses Kuria, even at the campaign trail, was not short of these dramas and controversies. But don't also the president see that he seems to have carried some of the campaign baggages in the cabinet, and he has carried people that are still having campaign hangovers. But his idea was to have people in cabinet that understand and resonates with the hustler nation narrative. And is he really in order, or is losing the track? On this one, Moses Kuria simply missed a simple thing, that you must have stakeholder engagement approach. I think it's article 3 that speaks about public participation. But the public participation, there is a legislative framework for public participation, especially when you talk on the annual development plan and the county integrated CIDP, county integrated development fund. I think that is also the one for the ward. I'm not sure because we have ward fund. But Moses Kuria simply missing a stakeholder approach when making these declarations. But aren't they also inheriting this style of governance from president himself? How many times in the campaign trail, or even when President Samoei has been making these presidential declarations, the difference between William Ruto, the president, and the cabinet CS is, with William Ruto, things can always be done from the presidential delivery unit, even outside the budget constraints. But on the ministry level, everything has to be within the budget lines, even though this is not one of the examples I'm talking about. So, this is what I say. The transition of government, especially cabinet transition from Uhuru to William Ruto, even though it has been touted as one that was very smooth and was very effective. I've seen President Ruto meeting Uhuru Kenyatta's cabinet twice before they handed over power, publicly handing over power to the new cabinet. But I think that transition came with sort of some disruptions. And when someone comes into office, do you start with the new things that you found on top of your table, or now you pick whatever was being done and transition goes pole pole? One thing that has happened is this, that with Uhuru Kenyatta's, with William Ruto's plan to do reversals of what probably Uhuru was getting wrong, I think even the ministers simply wants to believe that they're starting from zero, or rather they're starting new. So everything, there is no precedence. I kept on insisting that if there is something you cannot underscore, or rather you cannot ignore in government, is precedence, what others call institutional memory. That is there. And from the transition, I think that's the first time Moses Kuria is becoming a CS. Many of them there, I think even Machogu was an MP. So most of what is happening there is that the template for transition was not clear. So that hata kama waziri anaenda kuongea about something that will touch on land, you should know that if you are briefed by the management of the company, this and this has been going on, after getting that brief, what should you do? Which other office? Is it Ministry of Land? Is it the county government? So that when you come out in public and make a statement, you don't receive backlash. Because with this, actually you lose credibility. Ukishapiga kelele kwamba mimi nitafanya, I'll do this, then the next day you wake up straight somewhere else, again it backlashes, you actually lose the credibility. And I see Moses Kuria doing Matiang'i's catch 22. I've always believed Mudavadi should be Matiang'i in Ruto's cabinet, but Moses Kuria is just pulling publicity stunts. And within Ruto's cabinet, I've seen people calling super CS. He wants to pull a super CS tag. A super CS will elevate him above all the Mount Kenya CSs. You know, the fact that Rigiji, allow me today call him Rigathi Gachagua, Rigiji, is the deputy president, he is still in contestation for Uhuru Kenyatta's succession in Mount Kenya. Moses Kuria is actively in Uhuru Kenyatta's succession from Mount Kenya, and that is why he was planted in that cabinet. He was planted in that cabinet so that people do not run. Without Moses Kuria, the rest are a little bit. They're not so much interested into that. If you look at Mithika Linturi, Njuguna, the treasury guy, they're not so much into that. So Kuria seems to be playing catch-22, and that is what is making him now be in confrontation with some elements. Devolved governments are getting undermined, and what is bringing some of these confrontations? Remember, Madam Governor is actually saying that here what the county had done, and she seems to have a say in terms of what the county government has done in relation to that. So that also means that they are being undermined. The political implications are very dire, and I think that's what Ruto should look, that some of these mistakes are really coming up to our hound. Ladies and gentlemen, that's my bold.